When women dare to fully be themselves, to rise up as the divine beings they are, to operate in their magic, their sexuality, their power, they are always labeled one thing: wicked. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Wicked. I can't wait to talk about today's topic. It is about female embodiment and what it means to be fully embodied as a woman. I know that this kind of is like a new cool term to hear around social media a lot, and I actually want to talk about it, especially because this is what I teach. This is what is at the heart of my Pathway to Bliss course that I just released. And I think it is a topic that women really need to understand on a deep, deep level, especially today. Everything that's going on in our society, I feel like women are being pulled to and fro, and it's really important to understand what embodiment means so you can properly make choices of what is best for you. This is not about what is right and wrong. This is about you coming home to self and understanding self so well that you're properly able to make decisions and knowing that you're not making decisions from trauma and that later down the road when something doesn't feel right, you're allowed to change your mind. We have a hard time with that in our society. It's like people don't want growth. They want you to stay the same all the time. And if you make a choice one day, they want you to keep making that choice for the next 20 years. But you grow and change, especially as a woman. And as you go from maiden, mother to crone, your needs, desires, and things that you want in life is completely different. It completely changes. And we as women go through death and rebirth cycles continually. We do it every month with our period. And in those death and rebirth cycles, little parts of us die and we are asked to remove things. And then we birth into something new, even on a very small, barely tangible level. But we need to be open to allowing ourselves to do this and shift as needed. What was good for you last month may not be good for you this month. And this goes on a micro and macro level in your life. So I really want to touch on this today. So, in order to talk about embodiment, we need to talk about, as women, how we have become disembodied. How did this happen? Well, don't we love to blame patriarchy for everything? But we can, because it is our societal structure and it is also the majority religious structure, pretty much all religious structure out there, even in spiritual paths, because religion and spirituality are two different things. Even in a lot of spiritual paths, you will find the patriarchal undertones there. And I'm going to get a little bit controversial right in the beginning and flat out say that I'm just women are better than men. And this is why patriarchy exists. And I know this is going to ruffle feathers, especially if you're a man listening to this, but what you need to understand is that you don't oppress a people group and create laws to oppress them unless there is a power that you see in them that is a threat to you. And so way, way back, centuries ago, in religion and in spirituality, before it even hit governments, there is oppression coming through on women from spirituality and religion. And even in the paths that I am deeply involved in, even though within those paths I am on a very lesser known path, you still see the patriarchal undertones, even though it's very female centric. Very, very female centric, the path that I am on. And within that, there's a lot of beauty. But it also will remove blinders and help you to see just how patriarchal all religious structure is. Because what ends up happening, especially, so I'll say this, when it comes to omitting things from life. So like you have, Christians have like the 10 Commandments, and there's a bunch of laws in Leviticus that they follow. And then when you get into the Eastern path, there is like, abstaining from sex and not eating meat and like all these different things. And all of the things like overcoming these things of the body, these are generally put in play for men. Men have a very hard time at impulse control and women do not. We don't. You want to say that we're over emotional. You want to say that, oh, why? Because we cry. because something upsets us and we may yell. I mean, that's not even being emotional. That's using your human emotion and being in it. You're supposed to do that. But like when it comes to women, having to overcome lust or having to cultivate your sexual energy and not use it and just channel that energy inward to, run it through the chakra systems and things like that. Uh, there's all rules made about chastity and overcoming lust. And even when you go into the Bible, right, the whole story of Eve, I hate when people hate on Eve, man. That's a beautiful, symbolic, metaphorical story that has so many layers to it. But the whole thing of like Eve caused man to fall. And so like women take the blame and they say that like, oh, that's why we don't like that story. No, women do cause men to fall because men have problem with impulse control and they have to work really hard at it. It is very easy. It's not a, oh, I got a man. It's not hard to get one. It's not hard to turn on a man. It's not, none of that is very difficult. Men like shiny things. They see with their eyes and they get turned on and sexually stimulated. I'm not hating on that, but the whole thing that women make men fall, they do. And men, the more they ejaculate, they actually lose more and more Jing energy. And energetically and spiritually speaking, this is a thing, and it's also scientifically proven because of the hormones that kick up in their body after each ejaculation. And so it's actually a testosterone killer. And so men that have no impulse control and are addicted to porn and all of that, they end up with these higher levels of prolactin and estrogen and lower levels of testosterone, and they lose their drive. Testosterone's not just for fucking. Like you will lose your drive to do things in life. You will stay in the same patterns over and over. You will lose your will to do and to go and to make and to build and to hunt and to do whatever men are supposed to be doing. Um, and it's why you see this like, they call it feminizing of the male, but I don't see that as because females don't act like this. I hate when people say, oh, men are in their feminine era. The fuck they are. They're not in a feminine era because I as a female don't associate to acting the way these men act today. I have a high energy. I go out and I accomplish and I do. I get things done for myself. Like I am building businesses. I'm taking care of children. I have a lot on my plate and a lot on my back, and that requires a lot of energy and discipline and structure. And so I go and do those things. I don't know what this is like men are feminine today. Why? What is that? I don't know. I don't know females that behave like the majority of men in our society today. So what ended up happening in the spiritual practices, these spiritual laws started coming out because this is well known that when men aren't sexually cultivating properly and using this energy for something good, they're gonna be sleeping around, lusting around, jerking off, doing all the things, and they're gonna lose their drive to do. And so uh this affects your spiritual practice as well when you get into real spirituality. Okay. And then within religion, women started becoming oppressed because so you can actually see it in the lover's card in the tarot. Okay. So if you get that card in the Rider Waite, you'll see that the woman is looking to the angel, the man is looking to the woman, because this is ancient knowledge. It is known that women receive directly from God. We have the void in our body, in our womb. We have a direct connection. We hear the goddess, we hear the gods intuitively. We are supposed to be naturally in tune to that. That is our gift as a woman. God is a woman anyway. Why wouldn't he talk to us? He is a woman. God is genderless. But the aspects that I worship are the feminine aspects of the God. So when religion came in, it broke this dynamic. Originally, it was man listened to woman and what woman was channeling from the divine. And when religion started taking over, they started inserting these laws that it's it's all about the men. And matriarchy operates a lot different than patriarchy. So if our society was to move towards matriarchy, it wouldn't be patriarchy, but with women. And this is what I see talked about online a lot. I feel like people don't really know what matriarchy looks like because it's been so far removed from our world. There's very few cultures that still operate in it. Even my ancestry comes from a matriarchal society before they were colonized by Japan. And it's very, very hard to get any accurate literature whatsoever on what the matriarchy was like there, because everything is whitewashed by the patriarchal society that took over. But it wasn't, see, patriarchy rules with an iron fist and oppresses something in order to gain power. Matriarchy is not like that. They think of the concept of the whole, they think of it less as a pyramid and more as a circle. While there still is hierarchy, you have your priestesses, you have the what all the different levels to things, because just like with men, okay, some men are meant to lead, not all men are not leaders. And some women are meant to lead, and not all women are leaders. It just depends what you're good at. You are the authority of that. But we view things more circular, where patriarchy works more in like kind of like a triangle, right? We see things as more like a spiral and as a circle. And so there's more of an even ground because everybody's thinking of everybody else, but there still is leadership involved in that. Anyway, I'm kind of off on a tangent now. So when patriarchy started heavily taking over, especially in spirituality and in religion and then in government, this is when women started getting disembodied. So one of the main things that I want to focus on is actually about the physical body. And how many of you actually truly learned about your body? Most women, I've said this in an earlier podcast, most women can't even properly label their own body parts. And this is a problem. But the more uneducated you are about your cycles and about your body, and especially about your yoni and your reproductive organs, you're going to hand that power over to someone else. And that someone else is the patriarchy. I don't care if your doctor is a female, she's still trained under patriarchy. So the whole flow that is coming from her is that of oppression. It's what she's learned and indoctrinated in. And so when we don't know about our sacred cycles, and first you're taught to be embarrassed of your body, right? You're hypersexualized at a very young age. You're told to cover up. Why? Because men don't have impulse control. You shouldn't be wearing this as a bathing suit. You shouldn't be wearing that. You can't act like this. You have to sit like this. That starts when you're like 4. So you're being sexualized as a 4-year-old because men are perverts because of lack of impulse control. And especially once you hit puberty, it's even more so, right? I remember my parents being like, you need to cover up your body more. You can't wear this, you can't wear that. And I would get so pissed off. And I didn't understand why. It's like, I'm not wearing this for attention, for whatever. It's like, this is what I want to wear. This, I don't care if what it's doing. Like, I didn't even understand. I didn't really understand how vile men's thought process are until later in life. But I wasn't thinking of that. Like, oh, I'm trying to do this for attention or something. It's just like I'm wearing what I'm drawn to, and it's not for anybody other than myself. So we are almost taught in a way from a very young age that there's something wrong with our bodies and to be ashamed, right? And that we're doing something wrong just by existing. And then when you start hitting puberty and your body starts changing, the number one thing now is they put you on the pill. And already you are getting fed fake hormones. And when you are on those fake hormones, basically what it does is it makes your hormones operate the same as a man. It stops your natural ebb and flow and hormone fluctuation. And it keeps you more like a straight line, like how a man's hormones work. But our hormones is what connects us. It's what connects us to the stars, to the moon, to the gods. And these are a very, very important part of our body, not just for physical function, but for spiritual and emotional function as well. And when you're on those white pills, the ones that aren't really anything, or that week you don't take anything, that's not even a real period. You're not even really bleeding. It's a fake period, which is very dangerous. And now they have pills that you get your period once a year. And it's because they teach you at a young age that that's a curse. They literally call it the curse. You don't want to get the curse, right? And so we have this idea as women that everything about our body is wrong and gross, and you start getting discharge, right? That's cervical mucus, and you don't know what it is. Nobody even knows what it is. And it's like, okay, this is gross. What is on my panties? And you get embarrassed about it, and nobody can fucking answer your questions, and you think something's wrong with you, right? I feel like every woman has gone through that at some point until they understood what cervical mucus was. Some of us don't even know what that is until you're in your adulthood. I didn't. I didn't understand what cervical mucus was until I think I was like 30, like 29 or 30 when I finally understood what it was, like when I started getting into tracking my cycle. Unreal. So that is all things that we are just ashamed of, and that our bodies are gross. We're then taught that our bodies are broken, right? So we're already ashamed, we're over sexualized, and now our bodies are broken, right? Because the medical system tells you that it is. If your periods don't look like this, there's something wrong with you. If you get cramps, there's something wrong with you. If you have cysts and whatever, they're telling you your body's broken, and then their recommendation is just to remove it. It's a nuisance anyway, before anything else is considered. See, our womb space is the most important space. It's the most important space. This is where you store all of your emotions, traumas, karmas, past life karmas, ancestral karmas. And that manifests as things in your body. But because there's no, we're in the West here, we don't connect everything in the body, spirit, soul, physical. It's physical and that's it. There's nothing else. And all these things that are appearing in our cycles, in our wombs, is trauma, is karmas, is deep-seated fears that we have. That's all stored here. But we're so out of touch and out of tune, we we don't know what it's from. This is disembodiment. Then when you go from maiden to mother, they all tell you that your body's not doing it right. I can't even comprehend. It's like, oh, you need to get ultrasounds constantly, and your pregnancy has to look exactly like this, or your body's wrong. You can only gain this much weight. It has to be this many pounds or half a pound per week, whatever it is. I don't pay attention to any of that shit. But like, there's all of these guidelines that they're like, if your body's not doing this, there's something wrong with you. And then they tell you can't birth your baby either. That this is wrong with your baby, this is wrong with your body, this is wrong with your uterus, this is everything is you can't do it, we need to do it for you. And because women have been uneducated their entire lives and shamed their entire lives about their body, we're so disembodied and out of touch. We say, yeah, you're right, you know better, you went to school, you know better than me about my own body. And you gladly hand it over and you trust the doctors. And that's why we have the highest rates of cesarean. Than like I think we're two or three. I can't remember what the numbers are exactly, but we're way up there. We might be number one for cesarean sections. And it's because our births are completely medicalized and women are completely out of touch with our bodies at this point. When you are fully embodied, you know what's going on with your body. Now, another thing, the self-hate. Our entire culture and system is set up around women hating their bodies. So first they over-sexualize our bodies to the point that there's a problem with us breastfeeding in public because somehow it's sexualized, you feeding your baby. Your boobs are meant to feed your baby. That's what they're for. They belong in the mouth of your child. And like I'll never understand the thing. I hated hearing it. I hated hearing it with both my kids. They're just using you for a pacifier. They're not really hungry. Okay. And that's what these are for. No, you shouldn't be doing that. So you want me to put a piece of plastic in my baby's mouth that is imitating the shape of my nipple instead of giving him my actual nipple? I'm not bashing you if you need a break and because, Zai was a very, very, very attached baby. It's all he wanted to do. And I could never even set him down, but he wouldn't take pacifiers either. He knew the difference. Smart baby. Um, I'm not bashing you if you use pacifiers, but all I'm saying is, why is it a cultural norm that your baby isn't supposed to be using you as one? When it's normal. How is that normal? Putting a plastic nipple in your baby's mouth. That's more socially acceptable and somehow better for the baby. This is another part of disembodiment. We don't trust that even our newborn babies know to be on mom, to be connected to mom. That's actually really good for your milk supply. I never had an issue with Zion with my milk ever. And the more saliva is on your nipple from your baby, the better your body adjusts what it exactly needs. What your baby exactly needs is formula, because when the saliva touches your nipple tells your body what kind of milk to make. That's why your milk looks different all the time. Our bodies are fucking incredible. Fucking incredible. And we are taught to disassociate from that. And even we have, fed is best. We have slogans to promote that even more. The first thing they do in a hospital is separate you from your baby. And then they push formula on you. Everything's just to make money. They make the most money off of women. The beauty industry, the medical system, all of it. Do you understand we as women are cash cows to the patriarchy? We are cash cows. So they hypersexualized us, told us our bodies are broken, and then told us what we need to look like through using Photoshop and fake celebrities. And so now women are undergoing surgery. I swear to God, if I hear one more thing about a BBL or see one more fitness content thing saying how to get a BBL, why is everybody so obsessed with their ass looking a certain way? I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't understand the obsession with anything. Like there's parts of my body that I like working out more because I like them to look a certain way, but it's not because somebody told me. I naturally have bigger thighs, so I like them big. I want them to be muscular too, though. So I like working out my legs. I don't know. There's just this huge, and like everything. So they started with the filters first. Everybody started getting the same filters, and they all started using the same filters of the big lashes and the big lips and everything. And now everybody's just getting that done, right? Everybody's face is starting to look the same. Smooth skin, no pores, tons of Botox, big puffy lips. Every woman's face is starting to look exactly the same. What the fuck happened to aging? How is our younger generation that is growing up, especially little boys, how are they supposed to know what an older person looks like? Everything is fake and injected, and everybody is trying to stop their youth. There's wisdom in becoming a crone. There's wisdom in all of that. Wrinkles show stories, in my opinion. It means you have life experience. Like, why are we like what is that? There's just such a focus on the external. All of this that I'm mentioning is the disembodiment of women. We don't even listen to ourselves when we're hungry. Because either you're trying to starve yourself to look a certain way, so you don't even eat when you're hungry. You don't nourish your body. You're denying it nourishment to eat minimalistic things, low calorie things, like whatever, and you're not getting properly nourished just to look a certain way. Again, it's all external. And then it can even come down to, like, I get it. We like dressing up and stuff, but even like wearing certain shoes and they hurt your feet all fucking day, but you keep wearing them. Why do you not listen to your feet? Like, why? I don't know. I would never, maybe I did when I was younger. No, even when I was younger, I couldn't get myself to do that shit. It's like when my body told me something, I like listened. I mean, I did go through disembodiment, obviously. When I was very young, I had a drug problem, but I wasn't hearing anything because I was high. Disclaimer. Um, but That was my version of disembodiment. I was just making it shut up because it was so loud and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know. Nobody told me. So I just, I found out that drugs silenced it. Then I got sober and I slowly over years started coming back to myself. So right now as a society, women are trying to wake up to this more, right? Um, oh, we don't even listen when we need to rest. How many of you right now listening to this, your body is screaming for rest and you're denying it, and you're denying it rest? Sometimes we're put in situations. I was just recently put in a situation where it was like it was impossible for me to rest. There was like the ladies in the coven know, like there was times where I seriously considered checking myself into the hospital because I was so exhausted and I didn't know how to continue on. And those are very scary moments. And I made it through though. And now I have my life structured in such a way that I'm making things happen as a single mother that should it be this way? No, but these are my current cards, so I'm doing the best I can with it. So, um, women are capable of a lot, by the way. Even within that, it was a part of my embodiment because I was seeing how disembodied I was. And how even in my own spiritual journey years prior, how there was still a disembodiment, and it was more trusting the mind over anything else. I'm somebody, you guys, that actually know me for a while, you guys know all I fucking do is study, right? I'm a teacher, so I'm a forever student. And I love learning, but all of that is up here in the minds. And to really be truly embodied as a woman, you have to go into your womb. And this is when things get wild. Okay. I'll give you an example on an upper layer here. You know, those few days before your period where everything's just irritating the fuck out of you? People are irritating you, situations keep coming up in your head, there's a lot of stress going on. In that time period, your body is getting ready to purge. It's getting ready to release. And what should not take root in the body is getting ready to bleed out. All of those things that are coming up in your head, those 3 days prior to your period, when you have PMS, quote unquote, pay attention to that. Your body is telling you what in your life is not working and that it needs to change. And it's pushing up the intensity to get you to fucking pay attention because it's saying, hey, lady, I want you to bleed this out. Let's go. This can't take root here. It's not safe. It's not good for you. Let's get rid of it. But you don't do it. You blame your hormones. Oh, I just have anxiety because of my hormones for my period. You just blame physical things. You don't ever think, is my body telling me something right now? And a lot of us want to keep disassociated like that because it's easier than making the changes. Because what if your body is telling you to get rid of your partner? That's a huge change. One of your bodies like, I don't really want to be taking root here. Then what? What if it's just okay, so what if it's like you're overstressed because you get low energy, right? All of the stuff that you can tolerate and you tolerate all of the other days, those 3 days before your period when all of your energy drops and your anxiety increases, it's showing you what you truly are not meant to be handling. And you're taking it on too much and you're doing too much and something in the structure isn't working. And your body's begging you to change it and to release it with this bleed. That's what your body's doing. It's releasing something that didn't take root. And it's saying this isn't taking root. Bye. Let's clean out. This is one simple way that you can get back in tune with your body. It's all going to happen through the womb, and then that moves up into the heart space, which I'm probably not going to get into today in this episode. And so when you start doing womb work, that's when you start really getting embodied into shit. So in the Pathway to Bliss course, I have meditations to take you into the womb. And you navigate in there in different ways. So you have your heaven, you have your hells. Your hells are going to be your fears, traumas, karmas, past life, this life, and ancestral. It's all going to be there too. Your bliss is going to be your pleasure driven experiences, the things that you want in life. It's going to be your conscious mind, what you desire in this lifetime, what you dream to have, your hopes and dreams. That's all in your womb. The void is nothing and everything all at once, and that's in your womb. It's heaven and hell all at once, and that's in your womb space. So when you do these meditations and you go down into the womb space, and the course comes with a very potently charged and herbally charged oil to do these meditations with. When you go into your womb space, I have different meditations depending on what you're going to access. And I obviously teach so you guys understand intellectually first what is, what's going on. But when you start going into that and you start navigating and facing things, and you start getting more in tune with your body and the goddess that lives between your legs, that's you. Your higher self isn't something up in the sky. Your higher self is in your womb. This is your sacred temple. This is where the spirit dwells. The spirit dwells in the temple, and the temple is the womb. And so when you go in there and you're doing these meditations and you're, maybe you go into the hells of the womb space and you realize certain traumas and you're facing fears that you have and things are coming up. These things will manifest in your life, and it will show you this is not really working for you. This is a fucking illusion that you're believing. This person right here, you're painting them to be something that they're not. And it won't let you look away from that, because as soon as you start doing this work, anything that is not in a true alignment with you is going to fall away. It's why people get hesitant about this work. Because when you start getting in touch with the essence and the core of who you are, and you start calling yourself back into your body, you're never going to want to shut that power off again. And what's going to happen is this energy is going to start getting more and more powerful, and it's going to rise up in your body. And automatically, it's going to start pushing shit out by making things come to the surface. And oh, that trauma that you got from your mom when you were younger, all of a sudden you're realizing your partner does the same shit that your mom did to you when you were younger. How is that going to be? How are you going to maintain something like that? Or uh, you're tolerating something at work all the time, and you're doing this work, and I'll tell you what, your inner goddess, it doesn't tolerate things. It demands to be respected like a goddess. It's a goddess. It's not, I don't know, it's not a garden gnome. It's a goddess. It is on a throne inside your body. It acts that way. And this is another way why women will shy away from this work. They start feeling powerful again. That ruffles feathers in every area of your fucking life, even with your friends, because everybody in your life likes you as you are. And some people that are not in it for the long haul, they will step back, or they will try to pull you back down to how they need you to be to feel good about themselves. And so true colors will start popping out. People will talk about you behind your back because you're going to start using your voice more. Your womb, your cervix, is directly connected to the throat. This is why in labor, the more you can relax your throat and your jaw, the more your cervix, and you will open up to deliver that baby. You can sing, you can do whatever you need to relax this. It's because your sacral and your throat are connected, and they're bridged together through the heart. And these are very important areas for women. And I walk you through that in the course. Being in touch with this part of yourself will also require you to purge the shame and guilt you have around this part of your body. And I have deeper exercises in the ritual section of the course to walk women through this part. And I've had women tell me that have taken the course already how uncomfortable they were with some of them, and it took them a minute to be able to even actually do it. And I can see that because we are so shamed for our bodies. But this is going to get you to confront that and to finally release it. Because when you don't have shame and guilt about your body and you start respecting it like a goddess and treating it like a temple, anything that doesn't do those things is going to get kicked to the curb and you're not going to give a fuck. Even that alone is hard for women to do. Hearing that may strike a chord in you. You may want that and desire it, but when it comes down to it, that may be hard for you to do because for thousands of years, you've been persecuted for doing shit like that. It meant your life. It has never been safe for you to do this. But we're living in a time period where we can come out and start doing this. Are you going to get lashed back? Yup. I'm not afraid of trolls on the fucking internet. I'm not afraid of people's big yappy yap mouths in real life either. I don't give a fuck. I'm here to serve my goddess. I'm here to serve my goddess and to live in my full authenticity and to embody myself. I don't care what kind of feathers that ruffles. Every woman can do that and live in your passion and live in your authenticity. And then understand that even within that, there's death and rebirth cycles. What is authentic and passionate for you today may not be in 5 years, but you'll know how to navigate those change in cycles because you know what will happen down the road. All of a sudden, those 30 days before your period, you have your dream job, but all of a sudden it's like, stop, don't work here anymore. Fuck this boss of yours. Like, you could do so much better on your own. And you're like, oh, so you've been in the womb work for a while. And so you're like, oh shit, here we go. Another death and rebirth cycle. I'm gonna end up quitting my fucking job. And you're gonna be like, well, let's see if we can have a chat first. We're not gonna blow up our life. Let's see if we have a chat with the boss first. So you have a chat with the boss. Doesn't like what you have to say. All right. So your next cycle comes, and then 3 days before your period, you're like trying to type on your laptop, and you're like, I think I'm just gonna tell him to go himself and close the laptop. And you're like, no, I'm not going to send it. We can't do this yet. We need to be smart. mm. But then the next cycle comes and you're like, I'm out. I'm quitting my job and I'm just going to go for whatever the new dream is. Because chances are for months, you've been dreaming of doing something different. And then your goddess is going to rise up and be like, okay, you're creating sacral womb. You create from your womb. When you daydream, you don't do that in your head. You do it in your womb. You're a woman. When you meditate, you're supposed to be meditating down into the womb, not up into the sky. This is disembodiment. I'm teaching you to embody. So all that creative energy, that sexual energy, you're creating a new life. Hello, a baby. You want to create a new life. So you're daydreaming. You're doing all kinds of different womb work exercises that you learned, hopefully from me. And then you're wanting to birth this thing into reality. And then the voice starts. You need to let go of this in order to have that. You need to put this to death in order to birth life. If you are a mother listening to this, you know what it's like to put to death one life to have a new one as a mother. And it doesn't matter how many babies you have. You can be on your 14th kid. Your old life dies and you are rebirthed with that baby. You've been birthed as a mother 14 times. Congratulations. New mom every time. That's why postpartum integration is so important. And we don't have it in our culture at all. And most men end up stealing women's postpartums because they're self-centered and have no impulse control. Crazy, isn't it? So, another thing that will happen is you will hear your inner goddess. Like the more embodied you become, you will hear your womb talking to you all the time. You won't be reaching for the tarot cards every 5 minutes to, this dude, this friend, that you won't be doing it. What will happen is you will become so good at this because you're so embodied, you will hear that inner voice. You will be talking to somebody And you will hear your womb be like, don't talk to him. Nope, don't do it. This is not good. Even though everything can look great on paper, date is going well, maybe it's your fifth or sixth date, everything, but your goddess is like, no, but you can't figure it out. Your body's saying no, your mind is saying yes. What are you going to listen to? 10 out of 10 times, your body's right. Don't do it. Listen to your goddess. This is what happens when you become embodied. And the more you listen to her, the stronger she will get because you're not ignoring her anymore. You're feeding her when she's hungry. You're asking her, what is it that you want to eat? Forget about these like crazy fucking, oh God, diet culture makes me, I just can't anymore. With there's only one way to eat and you got to eat like this and carnivore and animal based and keto. And it's so ridiculous. The more you get in tune with your body, you will know what you need to eat. You will know. Do you know how many times where I've been in that space of like, okay, I don't like, what is it that I should be eating? Like, what am I in the mood for? I can't put my finger on it. I put my hands either on my womb or on my yoni, and I say, what do you want to eat? And immediately something will pop in my head. Immediately. And I just go and buy that thing. That's what my body wants. So your intuition, you're not ignoring your body anymore. It's getting stronger. It's telling you how to eat. It's telling you what kind of fitness it likes. It's going to be different for every woman. It's going to tell you what it needs while you're on your period. There's some there's some parts of my menstrual cycle where in some months it will be like I'll ask it, especially when I'm menstruating, do you want to go to the gym today? Hand on the womb space or the yoni. Do you want to go to the gym today? Sometimes no, sometimes it's a yes. So I don't have, I must go this many days a week. Get the fuck out of here. You have to just be embodied. And you know what? You know what comes with being embodied like this? Facing your traumas and facing your fears. And that's why womb work is so important. And that's why I made Pathway to Bliss. It's called that because even in your hells, even in your fears, even in your traumas, you will find bliss there. You will find the goddess there too. She is not absent from that. She is that because it's a part of you. And you are not absent from the goddess. Do not hate your traumas. Do not hate your fears. They are a part of you. It makes you you. Yes, it's shitty that we've had to gone through these things, but it also you can alchemize that and make it whatever you want, but it's a part of your personality. And until you stop hating those parts of you, you're never going to feel whole. When you start loving those things about you too, you will experience self-love to a whole other level. And guess what that is? Self-embodiment. Because you're embodying the fears. You're not turning away and running from them. You're embodying the traumas. You're not saying that you're broken and need healing and need saving and need alignment. You're facing them and accepting that it's a part of you. And then after you do that and you sit with it and you're okay with it, like I teach in the meditations, then you integrate it. And that's when you can alchemize it into something. All of the work that I have done over the past like 3 to 5 years is me alchemizing trauma. After I faced it, after I saw it, after I knew what it was, after I dove deep into it and sat with it and accepted that it's a part of me and became so in love with it and found the goddess there that I got so blissed out of my mind, even in my own trauma. Sounds insane, but you can do that because God is there too. The goddess is there too. It's just that it's been demonized. And that's what your inner demons are labeled as. But you can be a demoness and you can sit in that as bliss in your own inner hell. You don't have to be miserable about it all the time. Because when you can do that, you embody a whole new level of self-love and nobody can tell you shit anymore. You don't care if you ruffle feathers. You stop caring what people think about you because you love yourself. But you have to do that work first. And as you peel back those layers and you go in that, you become more and more embodied in it because you're not running from yourself anymore. You're not running from any of that icky stuff that's in your womb. You're diving into it and you're like, you know what? Fuck it. I love this part of me. And I'm going to deal with this and I'm going to face it and I'm going to integrate with it. And I'm going to love it. And I'm not going to try to change it and keep saying you need to change, you need to change, you need to change. Anything that needs to change will naturally do so when you start embodying yourself. It will naturally happen. There's no effort required. The only effort required is you actually doing the work to go in and meet this part of you. This work is so important. And because you birth your realities from this area of your body, so anything you dream up, those hells and traumas and fears and all of that are going to be birthed with it. It comes from the same temple. It comes from the same space. It's coming from your sacral. So in that, when you can start recognizing this stuff and seeing it and integrating with it, it will start manifesting less and less in your life because you're not birthing with it anymore. Because you know what's happening? You're bleeding it out when you're supposed to. You're not hanging on to shit because you don't want to face it. You're letting it bleed out. Every month, you're letting little bits of it go with your blood. It's powerful. And you've been taught to hate your blood. You've been taught to hate your blood. The very thing that's going to heal you, you've been taught to hate, and you've been taught to stop it. And then wonder why we have all these issues in our reproductive organs as women. Your blood is the answer. Your womb space is the answer. The thing that they're telling you is the problem is actually the answer to your problem. It's just our system is so detached from anything spiritual and emotional that they just say, oh, it's a problem, just remove it, get rid of it. Take these pills on your way. Take our medicine. Let us make more money off you. You have to just be doing this work. Our entire system fucking functions on women not loving themselves and disembodying. Our whole system is reliant on that shit. And anytime you try to do it, 10 things will meet you. I'm telling you, this work is difficult because every time as a woman you step in and try to do this work, 10 things will pop up in your reality to tell you why you shouldn't. It will manifest through people. It will manifest on your social media, all these random things because you are a woman put in a fucking box. And the moment you start trying to get out of that box, 10 things dressed up as something else, they're all wolves in sheep's clothing, will try and pull you back into that box. Get back into your box, little girl. That's what they're saying. And you have to know enough and you have to start being embodied enough to know that that's a fucking wolf and you're going to walk past it and say, no, thank you. You're going to become the fucking wolf. Get a little passionate about this. And I hope it's lighting a fire in you because that's what I'm meaning to do. I hope that what you're hearing right now is lighting a fire in your womb because that is the path I am choosing to walk. I want to be a little fire starter that starts fires in every temple and every woman that I meet, that lights the first fucking candle that she decides to fucking blow that shit up and ignite it so big that nothing can contain her anymore. And she walks around like a glowing temple. That's all I want to see. And that's all I'm going to do because that's what I want to see. That's my dream. That's what I'm manifesting through my sacral right now. That's it. I'm going to wrap up the show there. Choose embodiment. Choose to know yourself so fucking well you won't be led astray. Get to know that voice inside you so well that that is your navigational compass. Self-love and knowing thyself are the two most important things you can do as a woman. Release, let go, listen to your fucking body. There's nothing more wicked than that. If you're interested in taking the Pathway to Bliss course, the link will be in the show notes. I hope this is something that resonated with you. I hope this is work that you are fired up to do and want to do. It's time that you free yourself. It's time that you just live authentically you, powerfully you, because it's what you deserve. Want to be part of an online community filled with other badass women supporting each other on their wicked journey? Check out my online community, the Wise Woman Network. We have classes, courses, online community meetings, and more. Activate that sleeping goddess within and unleash your divine power. Join me today on a free trial to all my listeners. Link is in the show notes. I'll see you there.